would give the floor to Dimo Todorovsky, who is the chair of this session. Dimo, please. Hello, everyone. I would give the floor to Dimo Todorovsky, who is the chair of this session. Dimo, please.
Thank you very much, Mila, and thank you all in the audience. A very good morning from the Netherlands. It's raining over here, but we have very interesting and nice sessions today. So I hope that we will all enjoy this part. A very warm welcome to our 5 presenters, and with a small technical issues, all 5 of them are here in the last minute. A very warm welcome to Rodolfo from Ecuador, Rosario from Uruguay, Royal and Eugene from Namibia, and Josam from Rwanda. This session is meant to be called Regional Academic Networks, Lessons Learned from COVID for SDG number 4, which is Equal Education for All. Before starting the session, I will have a short introduction to all of them, and then they will share their screens and present their papers. So first presenter will be Royal Mabekeng, and she is currently a lecturer for land administration at Namibia University of Science and Technology in the Department for Land and Property Sciences. She used to work with Sheikh Dwellers Foundation in Namibia, and I'm happy to tell you that she was also master student in our program in land administration specialization under the program Geoinformation Management for land administration. And I'm happy to see now that our students are presenting papers on the conference. Second presenter will be Rodolfo Salazar, who is a senior lecturer in the Department of Earth Sciences and Civil Engineering in ESPE University in Quito. He is also alumni from ITC, and we have long cooperation under the Latin America Land Administration Network. The third presenter is Rosario Casanova. She is land surveyor engineer, expert in geomatics, geotechnologies, urban planning, and she has master and PhD in these areas. Since 1994, she is professor at the University Institute of Land Surveying and Faculty Engineering at the University of the Republic of Uruguay, and we are very happy to have you here today on board. The fourth presenter will be Josam Potel, who is coming from Rwanda. He is working at INES, I think, as a lecturer, but as I know, he is also secretary of Eastern African Land Administration Network. Last but not least is our fifth presenter, Eugene Chikbu, and I'm happy that we have long years of cooperation when he was still working at TUM, but now he is a new professor at Namibia University of Science and Technology, and he is associate professor in land administration. Without further delay, I would like to invite the first presenter, Royal, to put on your screen and share with us your presentation. Meanwhile, I'd like to inform the audience we will have not a classical session setup, but more a bullet point sessions where the participants will present just in 3 slides the keynote lessons learned from their papers or from their studies. So Royal, if you can hear me, or if it's needed to be with activity from the technical assistant from FIG, please put on your screen and share with us your story about your paper. I give the floor to Royal.
All right. Thank you very much, Dimo. There seemed to be a bit of an interruption from my side. I hope everybody can hear me. Is it possible that we just play the video that we recorded on our presentation, or should I just go ahead and do a new presentation again? Just a quick question before we move ahead.
Royal, do you hear me? This is Mila talking. If you
Yes,
have
Mila.
a video,
Yes, Mila.
if you send me immediately the YouTube video, I can play it. Otherwise, you have to do your presentation now.
All right, no problem. It's not a problem. We can do the presentation, but the YouTube video has already been uploaded. I'm going to do now, I'm going to start sharing my screen.
Okay, you have the button on sharing the screen. Please go. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Okay, so our presentation is going to be focusing on supporting capacity development in the administration in Namibia.
I'm sorry.
Hope everybody can hear me.
No, we see you, but we don't see your slides. Please share
You
your
don't
screen.
see my slides. All right, let me stop sharing. My apologies. That should have worked very well. All right. Do you see my screen now, Mila?
No.
Okay.
Wait, we see you. Yes, it came.
Perfect.
It is a bit with delay. Okay, go on, please. Yes.
All right. So our presentation will be based on supporting capacity development in land administration in Namibia, the NAST experience. As I was already introduced, my name is Minare Royal Mabakeng, and I'll just be going through a brief overview with regards to how the Namibia University of Science and Technology has been supporting land administration capacity development in Namibia. So as we all know, universities are there to produce and transmit knowledge. The Namibian experience is there to show that there is an intersection between knowledge generation from universities and changes that are currently happening within society. Within the Department of Land and Property Sciences, we have been supporting capacity development in land administration related field since 1998. What we do see is that land administration is an operational activity that would require the execution of scientific methods on concepts such as tenure, functioning land markets, and approaches to land legislation enactment and land use planning. So this was an emphasis that was made by Professor Paul van der Molen in 2005 when the Department of Land and Property Sciences celebrated its 10-year anniversary. What I'm going to go on next is go into a brief overview on why we need land administration capacities. So what we do have, and I know it's a little bit busy, but what we do have as current needs and challenges within Namibia are these different elements. We have a need for having qualifications or people that are capacitated in supporting the Namibia Strategic Network, where we have graduates that are coming from the geomatic section within the Faculty of Natural Resources and Special Sciences. There is also a need to support the deregistration part within Namibia, because now currently the Ministry of Agriculture and Land Reform is moving towards having a digital cadastre where all title deeds are currently being digitized. So there is a need for capacity in that area. Currently, Namibia has about 40% of the urban population living in informal settlements. And these are the ones, or the current population that is mostly affected by current COVID the COVID pandemic because there's not enough access to sanitation and water. So what we do see as a department is the support to securing tenure for people in informal settlements, with emphasis on the flexible land tenure system, where we are looking at implementing a locally unique way of supporting security of tenure for people in informal settlements. Our communal land registration project that has been implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform also needs capacity, especially if we are looking at flexible approaches to capturing and registering of communal land rights. And finally, the last part that is a challenge and that would require support from the department, and that the department has also been supporting for the past 20 years, is the functioning land and property market. We have an active properties sciences degree where our graduates are supporting the public and private sector within land administration management. So within the Department of Land Administration, our approach to supporting capacity development has these different core areas that you can see as this big bubbles on your screen. The Department of Land and Property Sciences research agenda works on a research strategy that is informed by the public and private sector through our curriculum development network, where we have practitioners coming in and advising what are the needs of industry. We are also part of the global land and academic networks, where we are using our networks to expose not only our students, but also academics and researchers to current improvements within the land administration and land governance arena. We have an academic delivery program where we have the diploma, Bachelor of Sciences, Masters, and also PhD levels in land and also spatial studies, where we are using a mixed methods of traditional and disruptive methods. We have the African-wide land network, as many might also be aware. We have the department is the host of the Southern African node on the Network of Excellence on Land Governance. So it also provides us a platform where we can engage with various universities within the region on research and also on policy development aspects. And second last is the professional and training component, where we are also finding ways to embed the Global Land Tool Network knowledge around responsible land administration within our short courses. So these are normally designed on a demand basis, where we have institutions from either the public sector, civil society, coming in and collaborating with the department on short courses where they can look at enhancing their knowledge around land administration. And then finally, we have the policy and practice interface, and also a consultancy component, where for the past years, we have been having researchers and academics within the department that are informing public policy. This can either be through individual consultancies or department-wide consultancies. And also the promotion of academics informing current policy development aspects. We have been active as well as a department in the regulation formulation for the flexible land tenure previously. And then also we have some academics that are sitting on the Second National Land Conference Resolutions Committee, where we are advising how can government better implement some of the Second National Land Conference resolution that looks at improving tenure security, improved livelihoods, and also improved implementation of land administration for sustainable development. So in short, that was just my brief overview from the Department of Land and Property Sciences at NAS, because here we were just to show participants and everybody that is attending the conference, what are we doing with regards to supporting capacity development within Namibia? So ladies and gentlemen, that's all that I had to share today. Thank you.
presentations, there will be a session where I will ask all of you to think about how can you link your work with SDG 4, which is equal education for all. You have your instructions, you got an email from me. So with this, I would like to ask the next presenter, or if the FIG crew needs to let him in, Rodolfo Salazar from Ecuador, to come on stage and share with us your presentation about the paper Land Administration Network, COVID-19 and SDG 4. Rodolfo, please share the screen with us, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Divo. I hope you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen, please? Hi, Dimo. Can you see my screen?
Do you hear me, Rodolfo?
Yes.
Yes. Now it is perfect. Please start your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. My presentation is about the idea of creating a Latin American Land Administration Network, COVID and Sustainable Development Goals number 4. Here in some context. In November 2018, there was a workshop in land administration promoted by ESPE in Ecuador, ITC, the Netherlands, and Cadastre. There were some representatives from Guatemala, Colombia, Brazil, Suriname, Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, and in different periods, more than 60 persons. From Europe to one of Spain, and from Netherlands, 4 people. The activities proposed for next periods of this proposed land administration efforts were to articulate a land administration network, creating a statement, create a network and secretariat, promote some short courses, education and knowledge training and sharing. But what about the situation with the arrival of COVID-19? What we know is that the use of advanced IT technologies for many people and organizations, but we can say not for all people, and not in the same conditions. We adopted to work from home, and we use the internet for education and networks. So in the implementation of SDG's goals came under questions. SDG 4, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. That's a big question. Then, in parallel, the objective of LALAM to support capacity development and sharing knowledge for Latin American Land Administration Network and research institutions was achieved. What's the situation? The lesson learned for this situation of COVID-19 regarding to SDG 4, regarding to LALAM planning activities, there was postponed for better times. So it was very difficult to have workshops or sharing experiences. Regarding the SDG 4 goals to ensure exclusive quality of education came under questions because many long-term educational change will continue after COVID-19. We will continue with distant learning and homeschooling in many of our Latin American countries. This conducted us to many problems, increasing the students-teacher ratio, so the extensive use of internet as a teacher resource. This conducted to difficulty of sharing time because many of the teachers of many of people of this network share difficulties with time. But I think the more difficult is to avoid the field work. So it was very difficult to go to field. As the time we write the paper, this was the situation with some of the countries of the LALAN network. As we can see, the cumulative cases of COVID are still increasing. So, again, the SDG goals 4.3, 4.4, 5, 7, B, and C are under question again. How can we know if we have equal access and education having improved? How can we know if increase or decrease of number of students? How can we know the gender disparities in education? These things have to be studied and analyzed. But this has a great impact in creating our network. So the conclusions, three main characteristics of risk knowledge, three main conclusions are that this type of pandemic creates a kind of level of complexity because we have difficulty to identify and qualify the causal links between multitude of potential candidates and specific adverse effects. So what is this pandemic? Scientific uncertainty. So we still have limited knowledge about the origins and the development of the pandemic. And the most important social political ambiguity of the perception, because this was manifested in the student survey. So we still don't have what to do in future. That was the cause for the lack of integration of the land administration Latin American administration network. So we can see the great impact of this pandemic in creation of our Latin American land administration network. This is what I wanted to share for you. Thank you for your attention.
We will keep a small discussion about the link of the study with SDGs, but you can repeat what you just said because you addressed that question again. Interesting to see the numbers, but maybe we should update the numbers in this version of the paper because it was submitted 2 months ago and COVID numbers are changing so fast. So maybe for next conference, we will do it with better timing. Thank you again, and please stay in the back of stage where we will be ready for the discussions in the aftermath of the session's presentations. Now it's time for our presenter from Uruguay, so Rosario Casanova. Please come on stage and share with us your presentation about the work of UNGGIM.
Morning.
Yes, go ahead.
Great. Just let me know if you can see it, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, good morning to everybody.
Wait,
Greetings.
Rosario,
Okay,
we
okay.
don't see your slides. We don't see
Okay.
your slides yet. Just a
Okay.
second.
Don't worry.
Now we can see it.
Okay.
Yes. Just give a
Great.
second to update, I think. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, good morning. I'm going to present a work that we did, this article with Paula Karam about teaching on the ethical use of geographic information in Americas. As Dimo said, I'm a land surveyor engineer in Uruguay. I'm also a professor at University of Republic in our country, in my country, and also the chair of the academic network of UNCIM Americas. As you can see, here is the site, so you can visit and have more information. The Academic Network of America is the strategic knowledge, research, and training of the UNCIM Americas organization. We are a network, a group of university and research, educational and research centers that we work together in order to improve, in order to enhance the education and the research in the Americas. Therefore, we did last year a survey that it was related to teaching ethics when working with geographic data. We were so interested, we did many surveys in order to make a diagnosis about the reality of education in the Americas. But last year, our focus was about the ethics, and it was closely related to the COVID-19 because there was along the world, not only Americas, of course, it was a lot of work doing with geospatial information. They were being published, they were being used in a lot of information with the geographic, the location data on. So we were worried about some things very important, like its use, for example, privacy. So we start analyzing, we start thinking about how we were teaching, if we were, about the education, about educating about ethical use. So we designed a survey that it was for Spanish speakers and for English speakers, in order to know if they were, if they were including the training education in different levels, but if they were training regarding the ethical use of geographic information. With that survey, we coming from we have the two versions from the Spanish speakers. They said that almost more than the half of the responses, 56%, they say they were not including at all any thematic related to education. And from the point of view of English speakers of the Americas, they say that 73% they were including in a way that's thematic. So that the numbers, they talk by their own. So it's very important to have this in mind. Also, we have other questions. We included other questions, but as we have a few minutes, we want to share those that they were more relevant. At least they were in a way they can show us the reality. So we also asked about how to those that they were including, how they were including. So, for example, we have coming from the light yellow, that it represents those courses that were included at least the ethic in brief comments, but in another course, that it was embedded in another thematic, but at least they talk something about that. That it was almost in the Spanish, there was the higher number, it was the highest of all, it was 60%, when it was most like general ideas, general comments include, and it comes from to red in order the other ones that they were related. The dark yellow, it was to activities or lessons discussed, but in another thematic. The orange represents the one that had a specific including the syllabus. And finally, the red one were the ones that have an entire course related to ethics. So as you can see, only more or less the 10% of the people that respond said that they were included. So what we say, that's final thought about the survey, but in general about ethics, that they were really a poor awareness of the relevance of the use of proper geographic information as the support for decision makers to make sustainable cities. So that's like the awareness. So also the thematic was poorly included in the academia agenda. So that's our work. I mean, like as we are a network of academic centers, we should be letting everybody knows the relevance, and we should start including in different ways this thematic. Also, there were low resource allocation to make academia include this thematic. And there was not enough awareness about the importance of and the consequence of not ethical use of geographic information. Like we said, COVID-19 made all this problematic, all the ethic points of view more visible. And as what Daimon asked us to include, as we can connect this with the SDG 4, that is education. I really love this, that I took it from the website, that education liberates the intellect, unlocks the imagination, and is fundamental for self-respect. I really love the key to prosperity. So our work, or our survey, at least this, is so close related with the target 4.7 that is about to ensure that all learners acquire the knowledge and skills needed to promote sustainable development, based on the general idea that we need to have geographic information, geographic data acquired to the analysis that we had to do, that we need to have that and to know what we're using and how to use it in order to promote sustainable development. So thank you very much. Those are our, in order to contact us. So thank you. I hope that it was the time that we have for that.
Muchas gracias. Thank you very much, Rosario. And we will have a small discussion after this set of session with the presentations. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 presenters that finished their presentations, and we are running quite on time. I think that's in the new digital world, sessions are shorter and speeches are shorter as well. So now it's time to announce that in parallel with the next 2 presentations, and during the discussions, you will have opportunity to see the poll, which will be with one question. What is your opinion? What would education look like in the future, in the new normal? Will it be full back face-to-face? Will it be 50-50 face-to-face and online, or hybrid? And the third option is we will continue to do it fully online. So I'm asking the FIG crew and my colleague Mila, please, can you start the polls so the audience can vote on these questions and we can include this discussion later. And for the result of the poll, our reporter of this session, Martinus de Backer, will elaborate what were the results. So with this, I announce the poll will be started in a few seconds, and I'm inviting the next presenter, Josam Potel, who is coming from Rwanda, from INES, and he's also secretary of ELAN, to go on with the presentation about the paper for ELAN and the effects from COVID and work on their network on SDGs. Josam, welcome on stage, and please share with us your video and your presentation.
The poll will start together with the presentation. So Josam, can you please share your screen in order I confirm that everybody can see you? Josam, we don't hear you. Switch on your mic, please. Josam? Yes, we can see you. Maybe you can
Hello.
speak. Yes, we can hear you. Can you please share your screen?
Can you?
Yes, we see your screen. Now we would like to see your presentation.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do now. Now?
The presentation? Perfect. Now put it on slide show. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, all FIG crew. My presentation is about the East African Land Administration Network, the ERN, and the impact of COVID-19. So I'm going to talk about the successes of the ERN and CRN project, supported by different developmental partners, and their contribution to SDG, especially SDG 4. Then the COVID-19 effects, especially the negative part and the innovation ways the network has adopted to work together under these COVID restrictions. And then I will talk about the implication of COVID on the network operations and contribution to SDG 4. So the ERN, or the East African Land Administration Network, is a platform for academic and knowledge exchange, constituting of mainly academic institutions within East African region. So far, we have 8 countries, as you can see them on the map. We have Ethiopia, where we have 3 academic institutions. We have Sudan, Southern Sudan, where we have 1 institution, University of Juba. In Kenya, we have 3 institutions, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, and Democratic Republic of Congo. So the network so far has 13 academic members, and the network has major strides in various aspects such as development, reviewing, and harmonizing land administration, related curricula in Eastern African region, executing collaborative researches across the region, and providing short courses for land professionals, especially the public staffs. So within the period of so far 5 years that the network has been working, we had 4 worker packages: the network cohesion, the research short courses for land professionals and community outreach, and then education. On the network cohesion, we had inter-university collaborations, where we had knowledge sharing in the field of land administration at the bachelor's level, master's of science level, and PhD levels. On research, the project acquisition, since the project acquisition, we had international and inter-university collaborative research, where so far 2 books have been published, and these are comparative books that brings together both 8 countries. On the level of education, we have developed curriculum for bachelor's degree within Southern Sudan, DRC, and Burundi, and then even reviewed the curricula of University of Rwanda at bachelor's level and master's level at the University of Makerere in Uganda. We had staff exchange as well as students exchange, where staffs from one member country visit other academic institutions, and then they share experience, as much as even students have been visiting different institutions. On short courses, we had refresher courses for land professionals. We had land clinic for community outreach, training for communities in the partnership with different developmental partners, including FAO, GIZ, on different areas in land administration, especially fit for purpose land administration. So ERN contribution to SDG, especially on the quality of education, we had ERN is making or is addressing inequalities in education by promoting gender inclusion, especially providing the scholarship to girls, advertisement, and encouraging girls to participate in surveying and land administration courses and ERN, and even ERN land conferences, Many universities have open days where students are informed of their career opportunities upon completion of education. And even ERN is delivering or is training and preparing graduates by involving them the real life problems and solutions. For example, so far in 2008, end of 2008, at Ines Ruhengeri in Rwanda, we established the Land Clinic. Land Clinic is an outreach or community outreach program where the people, as you can see this picture here, these are people in surrounding communities with land-related problems. So we have a day in a week where they bring their land-related issues, and then they are attended by students with the help of university lecturers, especially in the compilation of the documents required for different transactions, and even those who have land disputes, we help them to address them. And then the ERN addresses inequalities in graduation, the dropouts, where education is only for those who can afford to pay fees, and also addressing issues of dropout and other challenges. So some of the challenges brought forward by COVID, many of the activities of the network, especially on the network cohesion, on education, on research, and even short courses, were halted or stopped by COVID-19. For example, the 2020 annual general meeting was cancelled, interfered with the network cohesion. So we had to cope up as a coping strategies. We are encouraging virtual meetings for urgent issues. And some of the network's money we use it to get from donors were diverted for other activities. That's why we failed even to have AGM funding. So far as a coping strategy, the member institutions are contributing annual fees for the network activities. During the lockdown, coordination and logistics challenges happened because few activities were done online while others were postponed, because normally some of the activities need to be done live. As a result of lockdown of many academic institutions, online education was introduced within ERN member institutions. However, it also has some challenges like internet stability, lack of internet due to cost network issues, and limited or lack of internet gadgets. Graduation or digital internet literacy. There is a training teachers and students on skills to use internet for teaching and learning. Graduation of students in 2020 was done on physical in some universities, and where others was done on virtual, using virtual graduation. On the research across the region, lockdown halted data collection and research. This was postponed because of the travel restrictions that are still there within even member states currently. And because of the target respondents, most of them are landowners in rural areas. Some of them are unreachable on phone, and therefore, or even some of them given that there is still travel restriction on field, halted or postponed. Short courses and land professionals or community outreach, both of them were stopped. Short courses for land professionals were cancelled. Land clinic were stopped as precautions for given the advice by the medical institutions or medical practitioners. So land clinic can only be done, or it only works alive. So it was also halted. These people who are benefiting from outreach activities from the different universities no longer get that advantage. So the implication of COVID and ERN's link with SDGs. On the part of network and secretariat, COVID-19 has many negative influence on the higher education and subsequently contribution of the SDG. Short courses, despite challenges, some universities in ERN network have started teaching and running through various platforms as a coping strategy. And also the extent to which ERA network, the university's coping strategy can be enabled, can enable achieving SDG 4 under COVID restriction, still a challenge given the continuous reoccurrence of new variants. Thank you for your time. That's the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much, Josam, and very interesting presentation. I'm looking forward for the discussions afterwards. And next to the question of SDGs, maybe we can also talk about the results from the pool. With this, I invite last speaker for this session to present his presentation, Professor Eugene Chigbu. If you can hear me, please put on your camera and share with us your screen, and the floor is yours to present your joint paper with from your colleagues.
Yeah, thank you, Dimo, and thanks to the previous speakers. Our presentation, actually, Royo's presentation, is actually, we have a video already uploaded, so I'll play the video, and then afterwards, we take questions from it.
Eugene, would
you
like me to play the video? I will play the video, not you. Okay.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, thank you.
Just a second. It seems something is happening with my system here. Eugene, can you try to share your screen and play the video from your side?
Okay, I'll give it a try. Can you see the screen?
No, not yet.
Can you see it?
No, let me try to do it then. Do you see my screen now?
Actually, mine.
Yeah. Did you hear my screen or no? Is the question.
I think I can see your screen. Yes.
Yes. So then I will play it. I would like.
Okay, let me stop sharing. Let me stop sharing because mine is actually showing that it's sharing.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, you can go on.
I will play it then.
And my fellow researchers are Professor Eugene Chigbu from Namibia and Elias Dani Kusana from UW Ghana. Our research is based on understanding structural holes in academic networks. The importance of the research is that there is an understanding of what the structural holes are that exist in academic networks. It will assist academics in better positioning themselves in informing land policy development and general land governance implementation. And when you identify the structural holes as a continent or an institution, you'll be better informed in supporting initiatives that are going to be sustainable in the development of academic networks that it can enhance broader peer-to-peer collaboration across various institutions, and then also better inform land policy development. Africa, Dr. Elias Kuzana will be going into more detail.
Thank you, Royal. We use structural holes from social network theory. We explained that there are opportunities in collaborative individual-based research networks in Africa. Our structural diagram explains the whole organizational relationships that need bridging.
Okay, I'm back to you because I've seen that in the message box you didn't hear and see the video very well. Shall we try to play it again? Do you have slides, Eugene, that you can share and present, or you want to play the video again?
I can speak about. I can present it orally without slides, but yeah. But the video was supposed to.
Maybe it's better to speak about it. Yes.
Okay. Thanks very much. Sorry about that. We thought that would have used the video as an opportunity for all co-authors of the paper, to actually present their side of it. But the key part of the paper is that it actually presents the importance of networking when it comes to lands related, dealing with land related challenges in Africa. And the paper recognizes that a lot of other land related networks already exist, but we found that most of the land related or natural resource focused networks are actually more institutional based than individual based. And so when it comes to land governance issues, we had to look into what are the issues that are actually militating against against Africa producing its best potentials in terms of knowledge sharing, knowledge generation, and as well as knowledge building when it comes to land governance, land administration, and land management matters. And so we had to employ theoretically, the theory of structural holes, which was propounded by Bost. And that theory actually relates to the fact that when a lot of nodes or when a lot of nodes or a lot of institutions or individuals are working together, there's a tendency that most times they are unable to actually leverage on the potentials when it comes to information sharing. And then we found that in the context of Africa, there are holes in terms of the linkages that these networks share. And so we came up with the idea that there is need that while we recognize the importance of institutional networks, there is need to engage also in further improvements in the engagement of individuals. The reason is because even within the institutional networks, it is the individuals that actually drive these networks. And the consequence here is that with the various networks that exist, which you can see in the paper, there is a lack of linkages, a lack of collaboration when it relates to information sharing and when it relates to actually knowledge generation. There is more in terms of networking, in terms of ceremonies, but the research capacity of Africa is not actually being leveraged, because when you look at the publication rankings, the knowledge generation rankings, you find out that African countries tend to, be on the lower side of the spectrum. And even within Africa, you find out that the countries that dominate when it comes to knowledge production, in general, is South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, Tunisia, Kenya. When each year it tends to be that three of these countries, mostly South Africa, Egypt, and Nigeria, tend to be in the first three. And so we suggested that based on this theory, that there is need to link more the individual researchers in Africa for them to get to know each other, work to know each other, and actually directly relate to each other at individual collaborative levels rather than most depending on the institutional perspective. And the argument is not that we do away with institutions, because institutions are necessary. Institutional networking, like the Network of Excellence in Land Governance in Africa and several of them that exist here, actually allow institutions to link, but they actually help in terms of career development of individuals, but they are not actually, when compared to European, European and Latin American and North American, knowledge generation spectrum, we're not doing as good as that. And so the focus now is, the suggestion is that within every institutional network, there should be more activities for individuals to collaborate. Otherwise, what we'll have is that more African individuals are collaborating with their European counterparts rather than having a much more active inter-African collaboration. And on that basis, we made some suggestions, going forward, which is that in different programs should focus on trying to link African scientists and African researchers to each other. And of course, we call on African researchers to link and collaborate amongst themselves, because it's only then that we can build a very strong network that is African based, that is focused on producing knowledge and sharing knowledge that is locally realistic in Africa, and maybe able to link into the policy discussions on land matters and towards a much more locally productive land-related knowledge. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Eugene. And I would ask now the FIG crew to put all speakers on the screen, and also the rapporteur. So this time we can see also Marinus. Welcome to the live version of this session. So I'm very happy that so far we managed to come to this stage, that all 5 presentations are done. And with this, I would like to start the discussion. And after the discussion, maybe we can talk about the poll question, and that question can also be posed by the speakers. So the first presentation was done by Royal. Royal, how do you see the work of your network, or in more precisely, the chapter of your paper was supporting capacity development in Latin America in Namibia, the NUST experience. How do you see your work relating it to Sustainable Development Goal 4, or precisely to which part of the goals, point 3 or point 7, you can link it, and how do you think that can contribute to Sustainable Development Goal number 4?
All right. Thank you, Dimo, and apologies for not having covered that within our presentation as per email. But looking at the work that the Department of Land and Property Sciences is doing in Namibia towards inclusive and equitable education for all, we have to come back and understand that if we want to achieve all the Sustainable Development Goals, it is vital that we implement efficient and effective land administration. So what we are doing at the department is supporting that capacity development within the country, and then also not only within Namibia but within Southern Africa. We haven't made any major adjustments in ensuring that there is access to, let's say, people who have some sort of disabilities or what, to access education from our side, but it is something that we have to review, especially now looking at challenges that we have faced as an institution, not only here, and I've seen various reports across the region in terms of how students can access e-learning platforms for academic studies. So we are contributing, I think, just to close off. We are contributing by supporting the capacity development in land administration in general. And for that, it does contribute in one way or another to achieving sustainable development. We are working on reviewing how do we make education accessible to all, not only the able learners, but then also the ones that have some sort of challenges.
Thank you very much. And hearing your presentation, Rodolfo. Yes, Eugene, you have hands up.
Thank you. I just wanted to add to Royo's statement because it's also a co-authored paper. Actually, yes, our target was the 4.3, which is ensure equal access for all women and men, affordable quality technical and tertiary education, including university. So the whole idea of the role of NUST in NELGA actually is that it's a hub for bringing the players in the land governance sector, which in most cases are tertiary university players, together. And at this level, and I think that's where we kind of are already contributing to creating the individual to individual networking. It is easier here to measure equal access and equal participation and equality but specifically in the land surveying, land administration, and land management knowledge generation sector, because here it gives us a hub for the men and women and the upcoming and retiring players to actually be together and work towards equal access to knowledge on land administration. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for this input. And I really like your answer, and especially that you're having globalistic vision for this in the future. Next speaker in the session was Rodolfo. Rodolfo, you addressed the issue of linking the work of Latin American Land Administration Network with COVID and SDGs. Do you want to add something, or just repeat what is the most sensational lesson from your experience so far?
No, not much, but I think that COVID now, the new performance and the new indicators say that maybe the next period in Latin America around September, I think it will come more presential sections. So I think it could be a good time to start thinking in starting again with the implementation of this network, because many of our countries, I think, maybe for next year we will be able to have more contact personnel and more
Yes.
more time to do such efforts.
Okay, then maybe continuous question. What do you think? And there's the question of our pool. So maybe this is just announcing what Marinus will slowly take over and talk about the pool. What do you think, or what are discussions within your university? Will the education come back fully to face soon, or it will be hybrid, 50% online, 50% face-to-face, or fully online in the future as well?
No, I think the laboratories, especially, I tell you something about field work. We need many field work. So I think it's not possible only online education. Maybe it will be part of it, maybe 50-50, but I think not just online.
Great. We
Maybe
have the same discussions at ITC. I will share them later on with you. But then the question of hybrid, where some people are in class and some people are online, becomes a little challenge. So maybe that can be discussion afterwards when the results from the pools are mentioned. So maybe Marinus can come back to that question later on. Thank you, Rodolfo. And I think maybe we can switch to Rosario. Rosario, very nice presentation and very trendy topic to talk about ethics. It's perhaps the highlight in nowadays. So next to your presentation of your results about the ethics of using GIS data in Latin America and South America, your study, can you tell us in few sentences how can you link this to SDG 4? And then perhaps you can answer the question which was posed in the private chat.
Okay, thank you, Dimo. Yes, we are. First of all, our survey was for the whole Americas, not only South America. So we have also, that's why we have the survey in English version and the Spanish one. And we have the information from which universities were coming the answers, and related. We are so related in a way with the goal and with the target 4.7, specifically thinking on the relevance or the importance of using geographic information in order for decision makers. I mean, if you want to have a sustainable city, sustainable territory, in order to use Earth observation, also in order to have the geographic indicators, you should know, you should use geographic data. And that's location is more is, at least for us, is so important in order to make proper decisions. So they should be, in a way, acquired to the demands, or they should at least have a high quality related to the topic that we are discussing. So with that in mind, that's why, and it was mainly as a consequence, I mean, of COVID-19. I mean, it was, as I said, it was privacy. And what about location? What about the information that our phones, our mobiles are given to everybody, that where we are and the movements and so on? So it's an excellent tool, but also we should be taking attention of what we are sharing. At the same time, there is another session that is related to that we are presenting. If you are interested, you can take a look at also at the record, but also to the article. That is a study related to the law, to the norms regarding privacy and the use of locations. So with that in mind, and answering the question that they said that it was, there is, is there a course material on ethics on the spatial data use that can be shared with us? Okay, with that in mind, to the University of Cape Town, I will share on the chat. There is a link to access to our site, that we have an event on March 22, I guess, that we had for the Americas, but we have some discussions, and there were a lot of people that they have complete course that they talk, and we discuss about a syllabus that should be included in order to teach. But feel free just to contact me in order so we can exchange more information. But we are working on that in order to have like a minute thematic that should be included if you are teaching the ethics, because it depends on the level. I mean, 1 credit, 3 hours for 10 hours, 20 hours. I mean, so, but at least what you should be including, or you should not let it go discussing this thematic. So
yes, thank you very much.
Very
welcome. Interesting. And I'm looking forward to check this data, and maybe it will be useful for our studies, for our students that are addressing ethics. I saw that in our backstage, Josam Patel left the backstage. So here I publicly ask him to click the link that FIG crew sent it to him, in order he wants to participate in the discussions and maybe discussing the pools later. While waiting for Josam, I would ask Eugene, because you were the first in our list of presenters, to say last comments about your paper, Structural Holes in Academic Networks, Lessons from Bridging Competencies Gaps in Land-Related Education and Learning in Africa. Would you add something relating this to SDG 4, or you already related it in your answer when you were talking with SDG 4.3, I think?
Oh, thanks very much, Dimo. Oh, of course, I can relate it to SDG 4. Actually, it's beyond the SDG 4 because we have 2 papers in this particular session, so we try to bridge it. The structural hole, closing the structural holes or bridging these holes also is very much important for partnerships. And what we've just done is that the first paper presented by Royo actually deals on the issue of access and bringing people together at an institutional level, but which is still SDG 4. But our side, the later paper which I presented, focuses more on the individual. These holes, in terms of gaps that exist between institutions, between individuals, and between different networks when it comes to building knowledge, exists because of the attitude of individuals, or the absence of individuals, or focus on individuals. And so that brings me to SDG 17, actually, because a successful sustainable development agenda requires partnership between governments, between sectors, between civil societies, and of course between institutions. But the bloodline for this partnership are individuals, and that's why we realize that the missing piece in these partnerships are that there's so much focus on institutions and agencies rather than individuals, and we brought the individual into this equation in order to now create and ensure that accessibility to knowledge and building of knowledge and issues of equality is now measurable, and of course participation, it all depends on participation, and that's where the structural holes issues came up in our paper.
Great.
And how it is linked to SDGs.
Great, thank you very much, Eugene. And I'm happy that we linked our work with more than only one SDG. Now we heard SDG 17 can also be linked. I see Josam Patel is back, so I would ask Josam, do you want to add something more? Because I saw in your presentation you addressed the work of Ilan with SDG 4. Or you want me to ask you a follow-up question? How would you see the future of education, which was a question in our poll, and with this I announced the topic. So would you add something more about work on Ilan relating to SDG 4? Or how do you see the future of education? Fully online, fully face-to-face, or hybrid 50-50? Josam, please put on your microphone and join our discussion. Josam, can you hear us?
Thank you, Chair. According to where we see, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. According to what we saw is that the future of education should be going hand in hand with the hybrid, where we need to embrace in this global era, universities should adopt both teaching methods, theories online and practical work face-to-face, because this issue of the pandemic of COVID showed us that we should not relate only on face-to-face teaching method. If we want to achieve these SDGs, we should also be able to work to make sure that education continues irrespective of some of the challenges like COVID, what we saw. That's why we think that digital education, both the hybrid, face-to-face and online teaching should be embraced.
Very good.
And I said that some of the challenges, like in many African countries where many of the students are from rural areas, where they don't have the digital gadgets and other of them, there should be a collaboration between the public sector, the universities, and government partners to make sure that education is given the priority in this era. Thank you.
Very good. And now I give the floor to our rapporteur who was patiently waiting. Marinus, can you please share with us the results of the polls and what are our people in audience thinking about this topic? And maybe follow-up question can be whether fully 50-50 or blended, or how they see our future, or how the participants in these sessions are seeing this.
Thank you, Dimo, first for the question that I could really give some remarks on. And I would like to start to give all the presenters a compliment, because I really think you put together in your own situation what is happening in your countries and bringing that together. Now, regarding the poll, that's, I think, a very clear answer. About 82% said it will be blended, 50-50%. And only 2 said the same as before, so only 7%. and 3 people said fully online. And I think that's also what you see in your presentations, that quite often it depends also a little bit what you are doing. Some of the comments in the chat were also saying, okay, if I have field work, it will be difficult to do that online and have the same experience. Others say, okay, some of the more practical tasks you can do from a distance, but if you really like to interact, you have to do more. And in a way, I think what I see that COVID brought the whole world together, that they are all in a similar problem in bringing people together and interact. And before that, we were more on our own island, looking at education in our own way. So I think the presentations indicate very clearly that we have to work together and bring best practices to each other in order to do this for the next time. And I know the differences are there. The internet connections in the Netherlands are perhaps a little bit better than in Africa, but I think it is not only a technical issue, it's also how would you like to reach your educational objectives in such a setting. What I see also is that it is in an academic session perhaps easier than in the real practical ones, because it's not only happening in I see also some of the companies that are really have difficulty to bring new developments to their audience, to their clients, and in a way we are all in the same, I could say, in the same boat on this. Thank you. Dimo, please, you're mute.
Yes, that's the most famous statement nowadays. When you're having these online sessions, you're muted is one of the most frequently repeated words. It was great. I am reminded that we can also use the AMA session. And with this, I would like just to give one more explanation about the blended learning, because I know that many universities are using this mode of teaching, but we experience some challenges when some students are in classroom and some students are following it online. And I agree that there will be some challenges, but as we adopt it to home office, maybe adaptation to this one can come as well. Perhaps a small guidance from FIG crew. Can you tell us how we can go to the place AMA, or that's a session?
Yeah, this is a session. You just have to click on this link that is in the chat and on the screen. And you can interact with each other on the session that has just finished, but also you can have online discussion on other topics, of course. So we would like to invite you all to welcome in this after session discussion.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, but I will first like to use this opportunity to thank the audience for their patience and their quiet listening and watching to our session. And great thanks to all participants and presenters to our session. I don't see any button where I can do a digital help, but I will put my hands together like this, and this is for all of you. And thank you for the session. I hope we continue our cooperation in the future. Please go in the link shared with the FIG crew so we can meet each other in, but it's not working. So Mila, we need help. Please put this link in our private chat. And we will continue Ask Me Anything session over there as well.